You know you're an alpha motorcycle rider when you don't care about following trends. When you didn't buy an S1000RR because 24-year-old street squids cream their NBT riding pants when they see you roll up. You bought an S1000RR because it means you're better than everyone else. You don't follow the trends, you set the trends. Your presence in the motorcycling community is infectious. Your Instagram follower account doubles every time you buckle a strap on Rage EV Pista. And you don't care how many followers you have because it just gets likes or reels from validations from strangers. You care about followers because you're going to turn those followers into customers. You've got motorcycle content marketing funnel absolutely dialed in. You bring them in with the brutal cold start exhaust videos. Then the next thing you know, they're buying your meme coins. While other street squids are out there doing highway pulls, you're planning your crypto rug pull. You're just built different. You don't ride a motorcycle for personal enjoyment or gratification. You ride a motorcycle because it is a core component of your alpha lifestyle.
I am God.
Creating another opportunity to flex your superiority amongst beta male Honda owners. An alpha motorcyclist can quickly recognize who is a beta and who is not. Biker wave submitting to another man? I don't think so. An alpha waves to no one. You're an alpha motorcyclist if you wake up at 4 a.m., jumpstart your daily grind. To maximize productivity, you must meet the minimum yeet quota before the sun has risen. You've uncovered the ultimate alpha rider business hack. Why pay hundreds for a motorcycle track day when you can just wake your lazy ass up, get out there early, and have the road to yourself as a personal racetrack for free? I think some people in the audience actually think that way, and I'm being non-sarcastic right now. That's pretty stupid. But anyways, yeah, the cops might think a little differently, but according to Alpha Business Code, there's no one else there to claim it, so you legally own the road. The same thing applies to real estate, web domains, and even women. If you walk into an empty house and obliterate the toilet, then eat some raw liver at the dining room table, that means it's your house now. The struggling family with the sick child can just go ahead and sign the deed over.
Get the out!
If you can't afford a lawyer, what are they gonna do about it? Fight you? You're trained in Brazilian jiu-jitsu and you're covered in ringworm. No one in their right mind would come near you, even if it was to defend their home. You wake up at 4 a.m. because the early bird gets the worm, and worms are keto-friendly and packed with macros, and the ivermectin you've been daily dosing since 2021 ensures they're properly metabolized with no risk of parasitic overgrowth. Although I hear brain worms gets you a job at the Department of Health, so I don't know. A Sigma rider might do their own maintenance, not afraid to get their hands dirty, and a beta rider would happily be raked over the coals by a dealership for even the most basic service, maybe even paying $2,400 for a clutch service. You know, just as an example. Not like a certain person did that, but But an alpha rider, they get someone to pay them to maintain their bike. If you're an alpha motorcyclist, you should be monetizing every aspect of your riding. Content, crypto, apps, OnlyFans, NFTs, the keys to success are all right here. The reason you're poor is because you're not getting people to pay you to maintain your bike for you. It's not that complicated. You start a fake motorcycle mechanic school, you get a website, an LLC, business insurance, and you start attending high school job fairs and turn those teens into business prospects. Then you open up an enrollment period, ask them for 2 character references, work experience, medical history, blood type, and require them to complete an admissions essay. Then you choose your candidate, charge a tuition fee, have them sign an NDA and a liability waiver. Then you lock them in your garage with your bike, some tools, and a list of maintenance you need done, and you say, you want to see the sunlight again? Well, you better figure out how to work on a bike. By tapping into the fear network of their brain and making sure they're constantly terrified, you'll be able to unlock their hidden potential for productivity. Everyone knows how to do things they've never learned how to do. It's all about the past lives we used to have, the reincarnation of the mind. It's all adding up. I took ayahuasca one time and I remember thinking about all these things, but it's all trapped away inside your mind behind different neurological trapdoors. They can't be accessed until you think you're never going to see your family again. Not only did you massively improve this teenager's life by providing valuable workplace skills, you also got him to pay you to service your bike. That's about as alpha as it gets. You're also an alpha rider if you lead every group ride. You're the leader because your bike is the fastest. You're the leader because of your adaptogenic mushroom intake is just incomprehensible. And you're the leader because you get off on telling people what to do. You don't even use any navigation when you lead a group ride. What's the point? You've spent 3 hours every day in an ice bath. You've achieved new levels of consciousness that allows you to conceptualize the natural order of your surroundings. If you take ice baths, if you eat raw meat, if you listen to 4 2.5-hour long podcasts every day, you're able to biohack your brain to remember every street in America. They don't tell you this in school because they want to keep you oppressed. They want to keep your pineal gland calcified so you don't question what they tell you. They want to feed Americans so much gluten and sugar that the collective mass of the population alters the rotational force of the Earth's axis so it pulls China further away from the sun, which will then jumpstart a new ice age that will freeze over their country and halt production on all Chinese-made goods, thus exploding the American GDP and making sure we never see another CF Moto on the roads ever again. Meanwhile, all the NPCs on the group ride are just way too blue-pilled to make any sense of this information, so the Alpha has no choice but to lead the group ride. Come, my little sheep, come. I will guide the way. You might also be an alpha motorcyclist if you got a divorce because your wife wanted you to sell your motorcycle. Getting a divorce is really a pivotal element of the beta to alpha metamorphosis. You get married to a woman, the next thing you know is you start talking like a woman, dressing like a woman, acting like a woman. It's a terrible mess. Any alpha will tell you the best way to retain your masculinity is to spend time exclusively with other men. Do you know the best way to spend time with other men exclusively? Riding a motorcycle. The best motorcycle racers in history are men. The most enjoyable shirtless 22-year-old sport bike hunks with phenomenal physiques are men. In every alpha's adult website search history, you guessed it, other dudes. So if your wife wants to divorce you because you sold her engagement ring to get a new Ducati, or because she can't understand why you and your riding buddies are having men's wellness motorcycle getaways every weekend, then I think that just means you're an alpha and she doesn't understand the alpha rider grind set. The gayest thing you can do as a motorcyclist is marry a woman. So just get the divorce out of the way sooner rather than later, and it's guaranteed to boost those T levels and get you closer to the alpha mentality. Everyone knows that real alphas do not get married, and if they do happen to become married, they get divorced immediately. The more time you can spend with dudes, the better. Your network is your net worth. By being divorced, not only can you ride as much as you want and spend as much as you want on motorcycles, you will have no obstacles preventing you from nurturing the needs of your male riding buddies. If you're an alpha rider, you better be willing to make a 45-minute video defending your opinions on motorcycles. If you're an ultra sport bike Chad, you better be ready to defend and spend hours each day making baseless claims on the superiority of inline 4 sport bikes. If you're not wearing a mask and using a voice changer while recording a video of yourself claiming there will be dire consequences if your demands aren't met and sending it to the chief engineer of Yamaha, then you don't actually care that the R6 got discontinued. If you don't rant and rave into your phone camera from the cab of your pickup truck on Facebook Live when Harley-Davidson announced their DEI policies, there's no way you're an alpha male, because an alpha motorcyclist does not roll over for any manufacturer. An alpha motorcyclist equates the defiance of their opinions as an act of war. If this is you, you must know that manufacturers have been collecting your data for years now and know that you and the other alphas pose a significant threat to the liberalification of the motorcycle industry. They're specifically targeting alpha motorcycles for discontinuation in order to control you. Every time you select allow cookies, you're giving these companies more power to predict your thought patterns, essentially becoming victim to a thought control experiment with the desired outcome to stop the alphas from rising up and advocating for the implementation of creatine shakes in elementary school lunches and repealing exhaust compliance regulations. So every liter bike will come with a straight piped exhaust so it can make 5 more horsepower from the factory. So if you're an alpha motorcyclist, you cannot stand for this. You must rise up and make your voice heard. And of course, the most alpha thing you can do is sit on the internet and complain about things. That's the most alpha male thing I've ever heard, other than only hanging out with guys. An alpha male rider must also never ride on track. An alpha needs to always be the leader of the pack, That means they must be the fastest, the strongest, have the highest body count, and the girthiest net worth. By riding on the racetrack, an alpha is exposed to too much risk of being humiliated by someone with a much less powerful motorcycle, or God forbid, a 12-year-old boy on a Ninja 250. To start track day riding, you have to listen to instructors or rider coaches, which would require a level of humility that borders on pathetic. An alpha rider could never take instruction from some coach, no matter how much experience they have. I'm gonna listen to another man? What am I, gay? How smart can they even be if they don't have a massively successful podcast and a brand deal with Alpha Brain Memory and Focus supplements? By refusing to ride on the track, an alpha never risks the possibility that their social rank be eclipsed by another rider. If you don't play the game, you can't lose. It's that simple. Instead, by riding on the street, your main competition is going to be commuter cars and crossover SUVs driven by moms that are taking their kids to soccer practice. Maybe if these ladies spent a little more time in their 20s learning computer programming or Bitcoin mining, instead of having children and joining their friend's high school Mary Kay pyramid scheme downline, they'd be driving a Lamborghini or a G-Wagon right now, and then actually stand a chance of being worthy of sharing the road with the alphas on their sport bikes. Plus, they won't even let you ride shirtless at the track. Why else are you spending 40 hours a week in the gym with a highly intensive fitness regimen if not to show off your throbbing, veiny musculature while on your bike? Thanks for watching. Fact: the name Lego originates from the Danish phrase leg goat, which translates to play well. Goodbye.
You've made it to the end of another Yummy Noob video. Aren't you just a special little cookie? Aren't you just something so great? Aren't you just, look at you, you're just so freaking cute. Why don't you go ahead and click on the next video? Why don't you go ahead, listen, hey, I'm just kidding around. Hey, listen to me. Click on the video.